Age in place. What am I talking about today? I'm Dee Dee Jones with Innovative Financial. You're live at noon with us. Thank you for joining us, talking about aging in place. If you've heard this phrase, it's probably because you or someone you know is over 50 and thinking about their future. If you're dealing with an older relative, it may be a more urgent situation where this is somebody who is having to go into more assisted living or even long-term care because their home can't accommodate them, or maybe you're looking at making changes. But I want to step back as a financial advisor and talk about a way to think about aging in place, what we can do, why it's important, and when do we need to start. So let me start by defining what I mean by age in place. There's different definitions of it, but in general, aging in place means giving yourself the ability to stay in your home for as long as possible as you age. And we can accomplish this through a variety of ways. Why do I care as a financial advisor if you're set to age in place? Well, the big one is cost. As you move out of your home into assisted living, it just costs more. So that means you're going to need to save more to pay for those costs down the road. I want you to be able to spend your money in the way you want to. If that's the plan that works for you, I'm totally cool with that. But many times, there are changes that can be made in your own home that allow you to live there longer without assistance. When do we start talking about aging in place with our clients? I try and begin the conversation with every client early on, but by the time people are hitting their early 50s, it's really time to start having that conversation about where are they living, what are they liking about it, will it be a place where they can age gracefully, and if not, maybe we need to consider moving. That's another statistic out there. Most folks, if they haven't moved by age 60 or 65, aren't going to move. And so that again, valid choice, but if you're going to stay where you are, we might need to make changes. Alternatively, if you're thinking far enough ahead and doing that planning, moving to a home that's friendlier to aging in place might save you a lot of money and headaches and make it easier on your family as well. So let's talk about elements of aging in place. So saw a lovely quote about aging in place that is, we want people to live in places that are beautiful, that can prevent falls, choosing the right kind of carpet and flooring, that's welcoming, maybe shared spaces so there's less social isolation. How do we make it easy for us as seniors to entertain and keep the people who are important to us their ability to come visit? So there's a lot of design people talking about this. I'm not a designer. I want to talk about this in a really practical way. You're out there, you're in your home, you're going, I don't know if it's age in place ready. What are the things that I need to look for? So let me pop over, got another document here. So there's some basic design. You want a place that is flexible for use. It's simple and intuitive. There's tolerance for error. So I have a great example for this, but something that doesn't require great precision when you're working in your home. Low physical effort, stairs, not so good. And that your size and space is appropriate for the uses that you want to use it for. And that's kind of vague, but those are the things to think about. Why do we talk about it now? With COVID, a lot of people have seen care centers in a new light. If you had a loved one that needed to go into a care center during the quarantine, you discovered you just couldn't move anybody in. And for those of you who had people in care centers, you couldn't visit them. So all of a sudden, while they probably aren't our favorite place, they dropped in desirability. So people are thinking more about how do we create this age in place opportunity and a home care situation. So if you're dealing with a property and say you're me in your 50s, perfectly healthy right now, but what are some things I can do to plan ahead so as I age, I am living in a place where I can stay longer? Well, we're going to start from the outside of the house. What are the things on the outside that I can do to make it easier to live here? And one is think about low maintenance, things like brick or vinyl that aren't going to require me climbing on a ladder and painting, which would be a bad thing anyway. Lower maintenance plants and shrubs, because keep the cost down, not hiring gardeners and not out there on your knees doing tons of weedings. Having a transition from outside to in that's no more than 1 inch. That's something I'm going to have to work on. So a ramp in, avoiding those stairs of getting in and out of the house. Now, every single entrance doesn't need this, but as long as there's one, that's going to create some accessibility. Think about the floor plan that you have. This may or may not be easily adjustable. Most of us, the bones of the house are the bones of the house. But there might be opportunities to move some things around. On your main living level, do you have bedroom space and a full bath and no steps in between those levels, and a good 5x5 clear area to turn in the living room, kitchen, and a bedroom and a bath, so that if someone were in a wheelchair, that they could make those turns, so creating some open spaces. Looking at your hallways, hopefully they're at least 36 inches wide. Wider is even better. Make sure those hallways are well lit. Oftentimes we overlook the lighting in a hallway. As someone who comes into your house, some of the things you can look at to keep that accessible. Like I said, you don't want to have a step to the door, and a center light would be great at that door if the light is dim or after dusk, so that people can see their way in. Good 32 inches of clear width, which is like a 36-inch door. And once you're in, non-slip flooring. We'll come back to this a couple of times. Looking at cork, rubber, and linoleum are really, really great flooring for an age-in-place environment. They're non-slip. They don't tend to trip you like plush rugs do. They're easy to clean. If somebody's got a walker, a cane, or a wheelchair, those are smooth, very secure surfaces for those. I know we don't all want to imagine that we'll need those, but we may someday. Something as simple as make sure a doorbell is accessible. And in this day and age of deliveries, make sure there's a surface where if somebody's delivering packages, there's an obvious place to put it that someone can easily get, not bending over too far, not high, adequate for the purpose. Aesthetically, plenty of natural light for the windows. And I say aesthetically, but that also improves function. Having good light where people are working or relaxing and cooking, say, is really, really important. Look at the hardware on the windows. Make sure that it can be operated by somebody. Imagine somebody with arthritis in their hands. What would that hardware need to look like so that they can comfortably open and close the windows? Now, a garage or carport is a great addition. Make sure that there's access on the sides of the car so that if you have an accessibility van, they can get in and out of it. Handrails if you need, a ramp to a doorway possibly. Totally different direction. How about faucets? Having lever handles is better, or even pedal control, depending on the environment, can be really handy. I know I've come in from messy situations where having a foot-controlled faucet would have been so cool, because your goopy hands and you reach out and touch that faucet, you've made a big fat mess. If I could have just turned on the water with a foot, I would have really loved that. Pressure-balanced faucets can help avoid scalds as well. So changing rooms again, thinking about a kitchen and a laundry, make sure that your counters maybe are at different heights for different purposes. That's only going to happen if you're doing a fairly big remodel. But if you are, great opportunity to make that kitchen really more workable, not only for folks who are declining in dexterity, but really people of all abilities. Lowering your upper cabinets can be a big plus as we age, harder to reach high. We all lose a little bit in height, or perhaps our mobility is impaired. Pull down shelving is an option. I've seen some really cool options there. Glass front cabinet doors so you can see what's going on. Even open shelving if your style tastes run to that. Make sure your appliances are easy to run. As time goes on, many, many more of them will probably be voice activated. Make sure that that's understandable and can be supported by the technology in the home. Here's one, side-by-side refrigerator freezer. No matter what height you're at, you can get to either side. A side swing wall oven. I've only seen a couple of these, but I can see where that'd be cool, or even the ones on the British Baking Show where the door tucks under so that you can easily reach in and you're not trying to reach over the door, which is really cool. Consider smooth top cooktops, so electric or induction, so that it's easy to move pans on and off the heat, easy to keep clean, of course, unlike gas, which is very uneven and can be difficult to move pots from one burner to off the heat. And bathrooms, this is the big one, and you can actually make changes in here pretty quickly. Making sure, first of all, don't have a throw rug. Is the picture I posted with this showed a bathroom with a throw rug. Huge tripping hazard, really a bad idea, even for able-bodied folks. I'm sure you know folks who've tripped on those. Don't have those. Lever faucets make it easier to turn on and off the water. Haven't mentioned light switches. The paddle light switches, as opposed to the switch that we're used to, much easier as dexterity decreases for you to control. In the bath, you'll grab bars. There's carpenters all around that can help add these in for security. In the shower, having a grab bar is great. Near the toilet, adjusting the height of the toilet to make it easier to get on and off of can be good as well. You want to make sure those grab bars are extremely sturdy. They need to be able to support 250 to 300 pounds. Having a seat in the shower can be very helpful and not a big install. They can actually have some that attach to the wall and fold down and then fold out of the way when they're not needed. Hand controls on the shower head as well, and light in the shower if you don't already have it. So those actually, none of those are particularly expensive and probably don't change significantly the look of your bathroom, but can make your bathroom a much more easily used, safer place, not only for the elderly, but for everyone. Storage, make it easy to get to, well lit, easy open drawers and doors so that they're not easily obstructed. And I can go on and on. Flooring, like I mentioned before, think in terms of smooth, slip-resistant surfaces, both in and out. If you choose carpet, really choose the low pile with a high density, firm pads so that it's really a sturdy surface. And automate as much as you can. I mean, we're in an incredible time right now of the ability to control so much of our homes with just a request. I can turn on my AC by talking to my little device here. Well, I can change the heat. I can turn on and off lights. I think that's going to continue to grow and expand, and it's going to be a boon for those of us who age in our homes, that we can control so many of those things without having to manipulate them or, really interact with them. And we can create automations around those so things turn on and off. Blinds go up and down in pre-scheduled situations to create the environment that we want. So that is it's a bunch of ideas. Pick and choose the ones that make sense for you. But at the end of the day, think about what it's going to take for you to live comfortably in your home as different abilities in your world wane. We don't wish any of this on ourselves, but it's a reality. Over time, we will want some of these accommodations. Thank you for joining us today to learn about what aging in place means and why it's important now. It's a money saver, and it's a great way to take care of your future self. Remember to like and follow us so that you're reminded about our chats Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays here at noon. Thanks for joining us.